All right, I want to try to get through this a little quicker. Carcass. What can I say about Carcass? Okay, they invented gore grind. Okay, and then they invented a melodic death metal. So, love Carcass. Now I prefer like Reek of Putrefaction, Symphonies of Sickness. Okay, melodic death metal. I like a couple of bands that do it, but to give him credit, and I love it too. Bill Steer, right? I mean, he was the second lineup in Napalm Death. Very influential guitar player. I mean, if you listen to the first album, the riffs are so messy and dirty on purpose, and then the guy is a friggin' technical genius. Right? It wasn't an instant success. I didn't meet anybody who liked it," said Bill. Unfortunately, I didn't like Hard Work either when it came out. I guess I was one of those assholes. But I listened to Hard Work like a couple months ago. Oh, god damn, dude. The biggest problem I had was that Bill didn't do vocals anymore. I liked the dual vocal style of Carcass, where they would, Jeff Walker had like the high pitched kind of voice, and Bill had the very low one. But by this point, it was just Jeff doing the vocals, and I kind of missed that. But regardless, I mean, these guys, this should have been a lot higher, or the band should have been a lot higher on the list, in my opinion. Oh, Mayhem, of course. Freezing. Which Mayhem? Like, I like Mayhem. Okay, which album? Literally, they sound different on every album, but I like the Mystery Domus Tannis. Right? Of course, the Freezing Moon. The best one, though, of course, is Dead on the vocals on Live in Leipzig. But whatever, Mayhem is here. So where's Buritsu? Machine Head, of course. Remember Rob Flynn? I remember the band he was from before, Violence. Right? I remember they had the way they spelled it was like funny. And then like this stuff, it was kind of like Pantera. Pantera's influence was being felt. Sepultura's Chaos AD was being felt, and these guys took it to like I mean the riffs. Talk about a groove, man. My favorite song from them is 10 Ton Hammer. That riff that basically every metalcore band stole for their breakdowns later. That song, I remember the old metalheads like raping this album, basically saying, "Oh, what kind of riff is that? Two notes and a pinch harmonic is a riff." But man, 10 Ton Hammer, that, like I said, like with Korn, you hear that riff. If that doesn't want to make you start fucking somebody up, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. The same for you. And another band that was a big influence on the metalcore stuff was at the Gates. Now, at the time when it came out, I remember I was like, okay, it's just Swedish death metal, but they really did friggin'. You listen to it now, man. They're playing on that was even a step above in terms of the melodies, and of course the just sheer ferocity of it. And of course, right, it was a huge. They were one of the bands that everybody sounded like, all the metalcore bands. Tool. Now, Tool should be higher on this list. Tool is weird because that's a band, probably one like Alice in Chains, probably one of the weirdest, darkest, unconventional songs that you ever heard on the radio was from Tool. Okay, and Tool has a lot of respect for a lot of reasons. The stuff is also very rhythmic, very atmospheric. Apparently, also very difficult to play. Okay, I've never played this kind of stuff, but apparently the drumming is not so easy. Like Danny Carey's drumming is actually really difficult. I worked with a dude. He was great. I remember his name was Russell. Russell was a cokehead, but Russell was funny as hell. And he was a drummer, okay? And he was always talking about Tool. He loved Tool. And Russell was cool. When he got to work, he was a great worker, but the problem was he couldn't get to work. Wherever you are, Russell, man, I hope you're all right, dude. I remember the videos. The videos were like crazy claymation videos. Prodigy. Okay, the Prodigy. Now, I remember, of course, Fat of the Land when this came out, right? I remember the Prodigy, though, earlier. I remember back in the day. Anyone remember Kingsborough Community College, right? The college right at the end of Sheepshead Bay. My mother went there for a night course, I remember, in the early 80s. But they used to have a radio station, and Frankie Bones, right? Frankie Bones is a Brooklyn guy. He would go to Europe and play and bring back all these, like, the vinyl of these techno bands that would become huge in Europe. Of course, highly influenced by Detroit techno, which really didn't make any kind of other than inner city. Detroit techno really didn't make any headway in America, at least like in New York or other markets, but it really influenced these Europeans. Now the rave scene, I remember Frankie Bones talking about going to raves. He's like, they're like 3-day parties where everybody's doing drugs, and they're drinking these caffeine drinks. Remember what came out of the rave scene? Red Bull, right? And he was talking about it, and the music was fucking great. By the time I'm listening to earache bands, and the crazy bands are coming out of earache, Godflesh, Napalm Death. I'm also listening to a lot of this underground music from Europe called techno. It sounded so inhuman, so cold, so atmospheric, right? Eventually, yeah. I remember Frankie. What was it? What was the station called? I forgot what the name for it. B91. It was at the left side of the dial. Frankie Bones. They used to be hotter than the hot, sweeter than the kiss, right? Hotter than the hot 97, sweeter than Kiss FM. Nobody remembers this stuff. I guess I have to look on the internet, but I talked about the Prodigy was one of those groups, but it was just the guy. There was no, there was no vocals, right? And then one of the videos they did, he had these guys like they were dancers, right? And then they became vocalists. By the time Fat Land came out, holy crap, dude. It was heavy. And he had, Keith Flint, rest in peace, man. This dude, the crazy dude, he's got long hair. And he had the reverse mohawk. And he had the thickest Cockney accent you could hear, right? And then he had the black dude with the crazy tattoos. So, yeah, that was good stuff. That was needed. Like I said, the 90s, man. Very underrated music time. So, Dimmu Borgir, alright. I prefer the early stuff, the very keyboard driven early Dimmu Borgir, right? And we got Ramstein, right? Ramstein, right? Du hast mich. Bist der Todesscheide, right? Like it, Ramstein. That was actually really good. Sensacht, right? It's just, I don't know, what can you say about Ramstein? Apparently they're like their own industry musically. Like Ramstein is like its own little financial empire, and very controversial, right? What can I say? Everyone at the live show, the dude would have like a flamethrower. He would have like metal armor. They would friggin' they would probably almost get the audience killed. So very German. Remember the Family Values tour? Remember that? Oh, and it was also on the Matrix, right? Alright, so alright. Yeah. Okay. No, this is funny. Refuse, right? Swedish hardcore band. Vegan, all that stuff. And it's funny. Like it's interesting because this song, they played this song on SOU, right? Seton Hall, New Jersey College, Seton Hall University's radio station. They played this song every fucking day, 3 times a day, right? Chaos scream, yeah, we got the motion, woo. Well, I used to do the Ric Flair woo, but apparently I thought, man, this band is huge. They're playing this band all the time. Well, apparently we just hated each other and they split up right afterwards. So, but yeah, I don't know. I just know that one song, but it was a cool song, and yes, it was a big influence on just a couple of years later. The bands, the music. They had the riffs. The thing about New Noise, that song, is that it sounds like a bunch of different songs in one. The riff is different. The beginning is different. They have it almost sounds like they're live at one point. You hear audience cheering. And at the end, I love when the guy's like, "Don't help me, don't help me, don't help me," and he says it like 10 times, and he goes, "Thank you" at the end. I remember. Anyway, it's just one song. It's the only song I know from them. But man, they fucking play this on SOU all the time, dude. All right. Now we're getting Deftones. How's it Deftones like not earlier? But we had Deftones. All right. The early stuff was really fucking heavy. Adrenalize. Was it White Pony? Was it called White Pony or White Horse? I forgot the name of that one. But then, like, right, Around the Fur came out, and you started to see like these, the more ethereal part of it. The whole thing with new metal, with the it wasn't just aggression. They would play like these slow kind of parts where the guys would sing almost otherworldly, and like fuck around with the guitar, like very alternative sounding, as a nice contrast to the smashing riff. Of course, My Own Summer is a perfect song for that. The riff on that. But then Shabbat, 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 and then you go into I feel God is moving his tongue. There's no crowd in the streets and no sun. It's like in my own summer. I mean, fucking Chino, dude. And it's interesting. Reading this is interesting. I didn't realize Chino, according to them, was channeling his love of 80s soul pop queen Sade on the slinky, sexy, whispered verses, So, yeah, it's funny. I like Sade. I'm a big Sade fan, actually. I think Sade was great. It's a sexy, beautiful woman, smooth singer, very low voice for a woman. But anyway, enough of that. So, remember, I grew up in New York, dude. So, yeah, these other bands, I don't really know. Deaf Heaven, I keep hearing that, but who cares? It's the Deftones. And man, rest in peace, Chi Chang, man. Remember what happened to him? He was in an accident. He was paralyzed, and he finally passed away after years, man. So, and that will round this out, right? Slipknot, of course. At this point, I don't know how to say this. Like Slipknot, when this song came out, okay, this was pretty heavy. Probably the heaviest song that was on the radio. That and the System of a Down. But Slipknot's really dumb music. Let's be fucking honest. I always say Corey Taylor is a fucking dummy, and he is. Okay, the guy, whatever he says, that the IQ is gonna drop all around you. Okay, but Wait and Bleed was fun. Right? It was the idea of the new metal where like literally they were like monsters, and you had like all these. You had like guys playing kettle drums. That's all they did. Musically it was like fucking aggressive, and then you had the guy singing, but like I don't know, to me it just doesn't hold up as well. Slipknot really is like dumb music, and I don't say that as an elitist, that's for damn sure. Dillinger, Escape Plan. Now, this is the old Dillinger. This is before the other singer, man. This stuff was talk about, like I had mentioned when Morbid Angel, when Altars of Madness came out. At first it was hard to get into. The riffs were very choppy. The tempos changed a lot. It wasn't like a thrash beat or whatever where you could kind of like bang your head. Well, this, holy crap, these dudes, man. The music was like it's like, whoa, like what the fuck. How mosh to this, and the guys used to fucking mosh hard to this. All the Jersey dudes, but like it was just chaos. The music, it was actually very technical, but like part grindcore, part free jazz, right, But I actually liked the earlier Dillinger better than the other. If there's a band actually that came out from that scene, the metalcore scene, that was very similar to Dillinger, it's early stuff, but a little more controlled. That band Norma Jean, if anyone remembers Norma Jean, I forgot what album it was. They sort of took this sound and made it a little more like you could play it on MTV. So Norma Jean's not on this list, but they were great, bro. They were fucking great. I know. Everybody hated Fred Durst. You say, this is dumb music. Well, I would argue that it wasn't, because it was kind of funny. Durst was having the idea of having this sort of meathead, but not really. He was sort of more laid back dude, except when he got mad, right? And with this very crazy guitar player that would make really interesting sounds, Wes Borland. It was an interesting combo. They were kind of like a strange duo with the rest of the group, and man, they were good. Limp Bizkit. I give all credit to Limp Bizkit. Yeah, I really do. I know it sounds like, what? They're the dumb jock band, not Slipknot. No, I disagree, man. There was a lot of stuff going on in there. So, you know what? Fred Durst, in the end, was kind of a cool dude. So, And of course, I'll end it here. Electric Wizard, Funeralopolis. Now I mentioned, I mean, this is like these guys come out. Oh, the riff on this one too. This is like a big song on from that time. Remember? Ding, 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 ding. Ah, man, I'm a big Electric Wizard fan, but. And also they were cool because they would play drops from like old Euro horror movies. I think they were like the first guys to do that. So they that alone, but then the music and Joss is fucking great, and his wife, the guitar player, she's fucking hot. But regardless, all right, we're getting there. We're getting there.